I call the City Council Committee of the Whole meeting for Wednesday, March 6, 2019 to order. At this time, we will have a moment of silence. Alderman Rawson, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Dunn.
Here.
Mattson.
Here.
Kluhl.
Here.
McGinnis.
Here.
Grip.
Here.
Tompkins.
Here.
Dickman.
Here.
Rawson.
Here.
Condon.
Here.
And Ambrose.
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
Thank you. Meeting protocol and decorum. Bear with me a little bit. Good evening. As we begin this meeting of the City Council, I would again like to welcome all of those in attendance and also those who are viewing the meeting on television or on the internet. We respectfully welcome your comments and opinions. Please keep in mind that as you talk to the council, you are also sharing your thoughts with fellow Davenporters and with viewers throughout the region by way of our TV broadcast. We are happy you are participating in your city government and ask that your participation reflect the common desire we all share to make Davenport an even greater place for all citizens. For the children, adults, seniors, and families in our community, those in attendance and those watching at home, I thank you for joining us. At this time, we ask that you turn off or silence your cell phones and other electronic handheld devices as they can interfere with the audio systems in the chambers. If you wish to address the council on a specific item that appears on a committee agenda, you are encouraged to do so during the standing committee. You will also have an opportunity to address the City Council under the Public with Business option portion of the meeting, which will occur toward the end. When addressing the council, I ask that you step to the podium, wait to be recognized by the mayor or the committee chair, and speak to the council as a body and not to any single member. You are asked to limit your remarks to no more than 5 minutes. I ask that everyone observe the commonly accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, dignity, and good taste. Thank you. City Administrator, is there any updates for tonight?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have 6 public hearings this evening. We begin with community development. Alderman Rawson will lead that.
Thank you, Your Honor. One item for public hearing under community development this evening. I open the public hearing for case REZ 19-01, request by Bradley Matthews to rezone approximately 1.1 acres located at 5000 Grand Avenue from I-1 Light Industrial District to RMF Residential Multifamily District in Ward 7. Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on this item? Heating and searing. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you. I have the pillar in my way. Come on up, state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Bradley Matthews. I'm the developer, hopefully, on this project. I just want to say we're just looking to rezone it and do some apartment buildings there. It's currently a vacant lot, so trying to, I guess, invest in the city a little bit, and wanted to see if you guys had any questions for me.
This item will come up again for discussion later. There might be questions.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public that would like to comment on this item? Seeing and hearing no one, I close this public hearing. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. This public hearing is closed. Back to you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Alderman Rawson. Our second area for discussion tonight is Public Works, and that will be run by Alderman Dunn.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have 5 public hearings in Public Works this evening. I open the first public hearing on the plan, specification, form of contract, and estimated cost for the 100 block of East 4th Street and 400 block of Brady Street streetscape improvement projects. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Seeing none, I move to close this public hearing. Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? This item is closed. I open the second public hearing on the plans, specifications, and form of contract and estimated cost for the Tremont Basin sanitary manhole replacement. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Seeing none, I move to close this public hearing. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? This public hearing is closed. I open the third public hearing on the plan specification, form of contract, and estimated costs for the General Street Resurfacing Program. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Seeing none, I move to close the public hearing. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? This public hearing is closed. I open the fourth public hearing on the plan specification, form of contract, and estimated costs for the Elmore Avenue patching project. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Seeing none, I move to close the public hearing. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? This public hearing is closed. And the final public hearing is a public hearing on the FY20 Iowa Department of Transportation State and Transit Assistant grant application in the amount of $461,028. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Seeing none, I move to close this public hearing. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? This public hearing is closed, and that concludes public hearings and public works. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Dunn. We have no presentations for tonight's meeting, so I'm going to move on to petitions and communications from council members, and I'm going to begin with Alderman McGinnis.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a few items tonight. First of all, the Davenport Police Department's offering March workshops for people interested in careers as police officers. The workshops are Thursday, March 14th, 6 p.m. at Fairmont Library, Saturday, March 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Library, and Thursday, March 28th at 6:30 p.m. at in the Davenport Police Department. For more information, you can contact the Davenport Police Department or visit the Davenport City website. Now, most of our city council meetings, this is a point of information, include approvals of contracts for service with various private companies. And this is because state and city codes require a vigorous and comprehensive bidding process that includes registered vendors. If you'd like to know more about this process, which we talk about a lot in this chamber and is confusing sometimes, or you want to register as a vendor, there are information and forms available on the city's website. From the drop-down menu on the homepage, you click on Government and then select Bids and RFPs, and then you can read all about it and see if you know someone who's interested or just learn a little more about your city. Also a reminder that next week is spring break for Davenport schools, so let's keep an eye out for more kids on the streets during daytime hours. And also any family staying in town might enjoy some special spring break skating deals all week at River's Edge. There's a different deal each day. And with the weather warming up, we can also help put the spring in the step of some Davenport students who may not have the appropriate footwear as they begin walking to school in the spring or participating in physical activities. The school system is accepting donations of new or like new athletic type shoes from male and female students in all sizes, and they will be accepted March 28th to 27th at all Davenport schools at the Achievement Center or at the Achievement Center at Brady and Locust. So if you're cleaning out, think about the schools. If you have the proper footwear, drop it off between March 23rd and 28th. And finally, for the half of Third Ward, this month's Third Ward meeting will be Sunday, March 10th at 2 p.m. at the Antoine Lair House, 630 East 7th Street. We're not going to have a special guest. Instead, I want to hear from folks in the Third Ward and people in other wards, if they'd like to attend, as to what the term community engagement means to you. I want to gather thoughts on how residents and business owners in the city can better work together to build a city that is healthy and sustainable in the future. And reminder, please, on Saturday, spring forward, so you can be on time for the Third Ward meeting on Sunday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alderman McGinnis. All kinds of information. Alderman Mattson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I know this is kind of Mr. Condon's thing, but not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday, the St. Patrick's Day Parade, the third largest in the country and the only bi-state one. I'll just ask Officer Bladel, Deputy, if you could draw attention to, as soon as we come off the Centennial Bridge into Davenport, the crowd control there. I usually say this almost every year, and then the crowd control by our particular festive area locations, you know what I'm talking about. That's not as bad, but the crowd control, as soon as we come off the bridge, this is my 16th year walking it. The last couple have been it's almost impossible to get through that. So it's a wonderful, great, one of the biggest in the country, but if you could help with that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alderman Kluwel.
Thank you, Mayor Tompkins. I'd just like to announce upcoming March 6th Ward meeting. It's going to be held at 6 p.m. at the Duck Creek Lodge, just off of Locust Street. The topic for this meeting is going to be community safety, primarily residential safety. It's an issue that all of us are concerned about. And it seems to me that if we're ever going to get over this thing, work through it, it's going to require continual dialogue between the city and its residents. So this is an effort on my part to continue that dialogue, and we're going to win this thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Dickman.
Thank you, Your Honor. Wanted to get the next second ward meeting on everyone's calendar now. It's going to be April 11th, and someone from Vera French will be coming to present on multisystemic therapy, which is a new program coming to the community in summer, hopefully, that will be working with our juvenile population, trying to avoid repeat crime, restorative justice model. Some really good stuff coming. So if you are interested in that at all, I highly encourage you to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Grip.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a couple of things, both of them book and library related. So this past Friday, the mayor and I, and then a couple of other staff members from PD and fire, went to Garfield School and participated in the Real Men Reads program, where we each read to a class. I think the mayor had kindergartners, and I had Miss Ogden's 5th grade class, and it was Dr. Seuss week, so we read Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. It was very, very enjoyable. Also, an example of the city of Davenport teaming up with Davenport Community Schools. Interim Superintendent Schneckloth was there. He was reading at the same time I was. So in the community, partnered together, doing good work together. And then I just came from the Battle of the Books at the Eastern Avenue Library branch. So all of the Davenport schools were there competing to go to the district competition. So a Davenport schools function hosted in a Davenport public library. And I couldn't help but notice that there were probably 150 people at the library, not just for this activity, but there was activities going on with young children. There were retired folks sitting down and reading books, a really multi-generational thing. And as we talk about libraries, they're not just places you go to rent a book, they're community spaces, and that was on display today.
Nice. Thank you. Alderman Dickman again.
Thank you for giving me a second opportunity. I was reminded that I forgot to mention that it was 6 p.m. on April 11th, and that will be at the Fairmount Library. So that will hopefully make it much easier to find my ward meeting. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. We're going to move on to action items for discussion. The first area to be discussed is community development. Alderman Rawson will lead this discussion, and Alderman Ambrose will set the agenda.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have 2 items on community development agenda this evening. The first item is a first consideration for ordinance case number REZ 19-01, request by Bradley Matthews to rezone approximately 1.1 acres located at 5000 Grand Avenue from I-1 Light Industrial District to RMF Residential Multifamily District. Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on this item? Anyone from council? Seeing and hearing no one, this item will move on. Item number 2, resolution for case CP 19-01, amending the Davenport Comprehensive Plan by assigning future land use map classifications to 15 properties overlooked in the 2016 Comprehensive Planned Land Use Update. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Mr. Berger, did you want to comment any further on this, or? Matt will. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Matt Flynn, Community Planning and Economic Development. To set the stage for the zoning ordinance rewrite, we updated the land use portion of the city's comprehensive plan, and part of that task is back to our 43,000 parcels is assigning the land use category or classification, which is not zoning. It just helps provide guidance for zoning decisions, among other things. And as we were working on the case that was before, the 5,000 Grand, we noticed some anomalies in our map, our online map. We found properties that weren't assigned a classification. So I would put this in the category of an administrative oversight, probably done when we transferred the information from, I'll say, static maps to our GIS system, and it's not creating any nonconformities or any issues. We have notified all property owners and have not heard back.
Thank you. Anyone from the public who would like to comment on this item? Anyone from council? Seeing and hearing no one, this item will move on. I would ask Alderman Ambrose to please set an agenda.
Yes, Madam Chair. I move both items to the consent agenda.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed, same sign? Everything. Well, we're done, Your Honor. I only had 2 items. I'm so unused. That's so tiny.
That is unusual.
Yeah, it is. Back to you.
Thank you. The second area to be discussed is public safety, and this discussion will be led by Alderman Grip, and Alderman Dickman will set the agenda.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item number 1 is a third consideration ordinance amending Schedule 1 of Chapter 10.96 entitled Snow Routes by adding and deleting various streets. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to comment on this item? Anyone from the council? This item will move on. Item number 2 is a first consideration ordinance amending Title 5 of the Davenport Municipal Code to add Chapter 5.24 titled Massage Business Information Requirement and 5.25 Reflexology Business License Requirement. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to comment on this item? Anyone from the council? Seeing no one, I would just make a comment that I think a couple of my colleagues who had heard that that this might be a concern in the city of Davenport, and they brought this to the attention of the staff. It was very quickly discussed at one of our Tuesday meetings, and we now have an ordinance before us, I think, hoping to take care of that issue. So thank you for the swift action. Seeing no other comments, we will move to item number 3. Alderwoman Tompkins.
Sorry, thank you. We have talked previously about waiving this and moving it along as quickly as possible. So if we can make a note on that, I'd be up for passing it next week if everybody's in agreement with that. So that's just my. Thank you. You want me to make a
Did you? She did not make a motion. Would
I
you
will
like
make
to
a motion
motion
to pass that next week.
There is a motion and a second to pass on first consideration. We do voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. Okay. All right. Now we will go to item number 3, a resolution closing various streets, lanes, or public grounds on the listed dates to hold outdoor events. I'll read through all of these, and then if you have an issue with any of them or would like to discuss, we'll discuss at the end. J&M displays, fireworks after Quad Cities River Bandits home games, mostly Friday games, April through August. Additional dates to be added if necessary. Approximately 9:30 to 10 p.m. Closure bike path and sidewalk behind Modern Woodman Park. Project Renewal, Fit Fest, West 6th Street between Marquette Street and Gaines Street, Saturday, April 13th, 2019, 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. Closure West 6th Street between Marquette Street and Gaines Street, Warren Street between West 5th and 6th Street. The City Church, 226 West 3rd Street, City Egg Hunt, Sunday, April 14th, 2019, 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Closure West 3rd Street from Harrison Street to Main Street. River Center Adler Theater NXT/WWE event, Friday, April 26, 2019, 6 a.m. To Saturday, April 27, 2019, 2 a.m. Closure of Pershing Street from East 2nd to East 3rd Street. St. Paul Lutheran Church, Mayfest, 2136 Brady Street, Sunday, May 19th, 2019, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Closure Lombard Street from Main Street to Brady Street. Mid-Coast Fine Arts, Riversance Festival of Fine Arts, Village of East Davenport, Lindsay Park, Friday, September 20th, 2019, 8 a.m. through Sunday, September 22nd, 2019, 8 p.m. Closure, East 11th Street from Jersey Ridge Road to Hillcrest Avenue. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to comment on these? Anyone from the council? Alderwoman McGinnis.
Thank you. Just to note, we had asked, I believe in our discussion, our meeting yesterday, that the fireworks, that there be some notification on the agreement that they must be sure to clean up after themselves, correct? Thank you.
Seeing no other comments, we'll head to item number 4, a motion approving noise variance requests for events on the listed dates at the listed times. J&M displays fireworks after Quad City River Bandits home games, mostly Friday games, April through August. Additional dates to be added if necessary. Approximately 9:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Fireworks over 50 dBA. Mississippi Valley Fair, 2815 West Locust Street, various dates, times in 2019, April through September, outdoor events over 50 dBA. Rev It Up for Awareness Rally, the Gypsy Highway, 2606 West Locust Street, Saturday, May 4th, 2019, 2 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., outdoor music over 50 dBA. Mid-Coast Fine Arts, Riversance Festival of Fine Arts, Village of East Davenport, Lindsay Park, Saturday, September 21st, 2019, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, September 22nd, 2019, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Outdoor music over 50 dBA. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to comment on any of these noise variance requests? Anyone from the council? Seeing no one, these items will move on. And for item number 5, motion approving beer and liquor license applications. All applications this cycle are annual license renewals, which we do not read. So I will ask Alderwoman Dickman to set the agenda.
I move that items 1, 3, 4, and 5 are placed on consent, and that item 2 is placed on discussion with a note to pass on first consideration.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. That concludes public safety. Back to you, Your Honor.
Thank you. The third area to be discussed is Public Works. Alderman Dunn will lead this discussion with Alderman Condon setting the agenda.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have 13 items on the agenda this evening. Item number 1 is the first consideration, ordinance amending various sections of Chapter 12.20, right-of-way management regulations, to clarify specific standards for wireless structures. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council. Seeing none, this item will move on. Item number 2 is a resolution approving the FY20 Iowa Department of Transportation State Transit Assistance Grant application in the amount of $461,028. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council. Seeing none, this item will move on. Item number 3 is a resolution accepting the sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and pavement installation associated with the Village Cooperative First Edition site improvements. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council. Seeing none, this item will move on. Item number 4 is a resolution approving the plan, specification, form of contract, and estimated cost for the Tremont Basin sanitary manhole replacements. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council? Seeing none, this item will move on. Item number 5 is a resolution approving the plan, specification, form of contract, and estimated cost for the 100 block of East 4th Street and the 400 block of Brady Street streetscape improvements. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council? Seeing none. Oh, Alderman McGinnis.
Thank you, Alderman Dunn. I will be abstaining from voting on number 5 due to a conflict of interest.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one, this item will move on. Item number 6 is a resolution approving the plan, specification, and form of contract and estimated cost for the General Street Resurfacing Program. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council? Seeing none, this item will move on. Item number 7 is a resolution approving the plan, specification, and form of contract and estimated cost for the Elmore Avenue patching project. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council? Seeing none, this item will move on. Item number 8 is a resolution of acceptance for the Pheasant Creek Tributary Stream Stabilization Project completed by Ardo Smith Construction Incorporated of Preston, Iowa, with a final cost of $133,553.27. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council? Seeing none, this item will move on. Item number 9 is a resolution approving the contract for towing services to Fred's Towing Incorporated of Davenport, Iowa. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council? Alderman Grip.
Thank you, Alderman Dunn. I just want to reiterate a couple of comments that I had yesterday regarding this. And I understand that the towing contract is such a big contract that we are limited by only one response to the RFP. But one of the complaints I've gotten over the last few years, and one that I promised that I would try to address when this contract came up, is that we sometimes have folks who have their car towed for no fault of their own. One example would be your car gets stolen, and and then it is subsequently towed from wherever it's found to the towing lot. And sometimes the fees seem to be unreasonable, especially when it's a no fault. And then a lot of times, even on non traditional holidays like President's Day, there's an additional fine for getting your car towed on President's Day. So you've had your car towed through no fault of your own. It's on a day that really is kind of inconsequential to the business world, yet the fines continue to be placed on there. And I'd like to see some advocacy, I'd like to see us try to negotiate for the people who this happens to. And I understand we're limited by only one response, but I still think we should be trying to work towards that. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Grip. Alderman Mattson.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. I just want to say I agree with Alderman Grip, and if you need to say try and work this, I agree. It's when people have no fault of their own, especially when they've been dealt a serious blow of their car being stolen, it's broken, and now it's wrecked, and now you build up a whole bunch of bills because you don't even have the money, or something goes wrong. So I'll second, or whatever you need, support his advocacy effort.
Thank you, Alderman Mattson. Anyone else? Seeing none, this item will move on. Item number 10 is a resolution approving 2 grant agreements with the Iowa Department of Transportation for the 53rd Street reconstruction and widening projects. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council? Seeing none, this item will move on. Item number 11 is a motion approving the contract for mowing and maintenance of natural resources areas to Smith Seeding Company of Eldridge, Iowa, in the amount of $74,100. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council? Seeing none, this item will move on. Item number 12 is a motion awarding the mowing contracts to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder in each category. Anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council? Seeing none, this item will move on. And item number 13 is a motion approving a contract amendment with Strand and Associates in the amount of $58,000 for engineering services at the Water Pollution Control Plant. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address this item? Council? Seeing none, this item will move on. Alderman Condon, will you please set the agenda?
Yes, I move to put all items on the consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? The agenda is set, and back to you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Alderman Dunn. Our last area to be discussed is finance. This conversation will be led by Alderman Mattson, and Alderman Kuhl will set the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So finance, we have a couple items. The first item is a resolution adopting updates to the city administrator's work plan for cycle 2019. So I'll just ask Ms. Spiegel, just briefly, just give us, the public, a quick update of what you're doing.
Sure. The work plan is really a 2-year work plan that coincides with the council goal setting process, which we did about 1.5 years ago. Several of the goals that we had set for 2018, we checked off, we completed. Several of those goals remain on, but we added several new items for 2019. A couple of them to highlight would be the vacant property registration. That's a huge thing we've been talking about and really important as part of the urban revitalization initiative. Preparing for the 2020 census that's ahead. And then this growing Project Gateway, which is government accessible to everyone, which is really in partnership with Alderman McGinnis's work on community engagement. So those are a couple of the key profile ones to watch.
Thank you very much, Ms. Spiegel. Anyone from the public have a comment? Council. Very good. Number 2 is a resolution of support for the new downtown YMCA project, including a contribution of $50,000 to match the state community attraction and tourism grant, the CAT grant application. Wonderful, wonderful support and project we're doing. Anyone from the public want to comment on this? Council. Mr. Grip.
Thank you, Alderman Mattson. And just Alderwoman McGinnis and Condon and I had a chance to sit down with Brad Martell, the CEO of the Y, and talk through this. This is a really great opportunity for the Eastern Corridor of downtown Davenport. This is going to be a $21 or $22 million development that's going to be one of the first larger buildings that's actually coming out of the ground in downtown in quite some time. But just as important as the new YMCA is, there is an adjoining property that is going to become an economic development site. And so we sat down with Mr. Martell, and we kind of stated that this is a very important development site. It's viewed as kind of a linchpin, not only to the downtown, but also to the neighborhoods in the Bluff. It's going to be connected to the first bridge. If the first bridge can get funded, the first bridge is right there. And this council has 2 times expressed their support of that happening. And so we support the project, and I think this is great. Scott County is going to put money in. The city of Davenport is going to put money in. That shows the state of Iowa that this community is invested in this project, and I think the YMCA has made a statement that they know how important this land is. They are a community partner in our downtown. They're going to keep us in the loop on how the development is going, and I'm looking forward to you guys breaking ground on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Condon. I'm sorry, Alderman Grip. I just want to say my dad used to go there. He was always the first one there at 5 in the morning when they'd opened downtown for over decades, and he said to many people, boy, I hope they talk about doing a new Y. I can't wait till you do it. So this is kind of a cool thing that he'll look from above and see that. So anyway, number 3, motion approving the contract for exclusive pouring rights for the Parks and Recreation Department to Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Davenport. Anybody from the public want to talk about this? Council? Okay. Number 4, motion approving a contract with and ratifying previous payments to Environmark of Davenport, Iowa for environmental cleanup services exceeding $50,000 at Credit Island. Anyone from the public? Council. Very good. And number 5, motion accepting the 2017-2018 Corn Ferry compensation study as final and adopting a new compensation philosophy, administrative policy for non-bargaining employees. Anybody from the public? Council. Very good. And then, of course, we have our purchases of $10,000. We don't read them. There they are. You can look at them. And I'll ask Alderman Kluhl to set or make a motion for an agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that all items be moved forward to the consent agenda.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Very good. Back to you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman Mattson. We have no other ordinances, resolutions, or motions, so this is a nice, efficient meeting. I appreciate that. So I'm going to open this up to public with business. So if anybody has anything that they'd like to talk to us or to the city, this is your opportunity. You have 5 minutes to speak to us as a council. Anyone? Please state your name and ward or address.
Good evening. My name is Jay Cosby Gibson, a.k.a. Dog Man. I live in the 8th Ward, do business in the 3rd Ward, I think it is. Anyway, I come to, again, to discuss the object of officers abusing their powers on the Davenport Police Department. I've received numerous complaints from people in the neighborhood of Officer Sims and Teagues, 2 of the officers that are responsible. There's other officers also that are abusing their powers, arresting people for disorderly conduct. Disorderly conduct, public intox, interference with official acts. These things are not necessary. I'm not telling people how to, the officers how to do their jobs, but when we complain, we're getting no results. Now, I also have a complaint myself individually, so it's not just other people, and so I'm bringing it forth to the council so they can be aware of it, and so other people in the community, I'm sure, is already aware of it. It's mostly done on the second and third shifts, and predominantly with newer officers. Now, we do have real nice officers, and every time we have meetings, we always get the real good officers that come. We never get the bad ones that's doing this, and look like we can't confront the ones that are doing it. But these offenses have been increased threefold. The public intox, disorderly conduct, and interference with official acts is I don't know where that charge comes from. If the officer don't like the answer you're giving them, then they're going to hit you with that. And you should never be forced to get out of your car and be subject to a search or a search of your vehicle for a minor traffic infraction. So I want the public to be aware, and I want the council to be aware of the complaints that we've been getting. And it's not, so I mean, it must be something going on, because we keep getting complaints. We go down, we file complaints with the police department. They contact the people, but nothing's getting better. So I know the council can't do anything, but I'm bringing it to the council's attention so that maybe we can get something done. So, because some of these people have menial jobs, they're losing their vehicles because the police are towing their vehicles unnecessarily when they could just as easily park for a minor infraction, or they could send them home or give them a ride. So what I'm telling the council people is that something needs to be done about this situation, and that somebody needs to address it other than me. So the next time I receive complaints of this nature, I'm going to try to bring somebody maybe with more influence than myself down to the council. I don't need to bring 50 people down, because I could very easily bring 400 or 500 people that's been done like that. But I want to bring somebody that's got some influence, that maybe if they don't listen to me, maybe they will listen to them. And also, while I'm here, I want to thank Chief Sikorsky and Major Bladel for answering calls when we do call them about these situations. So I have to give them their credit, because they do respond when we do call them about it. But these officers, nothing's being done about it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. We do appreciate that. I'm wondering if maybe staff could follow up with this gentleman. Just make sure that we're aware of all of his concerns. Thank you. Anybody else? Anyone from council? Any reports from city officials? Okay, thank you. There's a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? We are adjourned. Thank you.